I was taking psychic development classes and training to be a death midwife, someone that helps a soul transition from being in a human body to what comes next. When my teacher said the words prenatal medium, my whole body lit up. Yes, helping a soul transition into life rather than out. I was flooded by the knowledge that I had done this kind of work before, in another life, in Africa. I could see my teacher, and I had a vision of us working side by side. A few weeks later, after processing this information, I was at a retreat center in the beautiful Santa Cruz Mountains. Our instructor was taking us through a visualization of our future selves. Now, I was there to learn how to be a business coach, but the universe had a different picture to show me. As I sat there with my eyes closed, I saw myself in front of a room full of pregnant women, teaching them to communicate with the souls of their babies. Not long after this, I took a class about death at a local spiritual bookstore. 6 of us were gathered in the front of the room that was too big for us, and we were sharing about ourselves. And my cheeks flushed with excitement when I said, I am a prenatal medium. Well, that sent a buzz of curiosity through the group, and the gentleman next to me asked, when does a soul connect to the body? I didn't know. So I opened up to the universe to receive an answer. And as I sat there on that cold metal chair in that room at the back of the bookstore, the magic of how life begins unfolded before me. I saw conception. I saw a beautiful luminescent silver cord being created between the soul and the new body. A cord that would stay until death, whenever that might be. Well, about a year later, I was back at that same retreat center in the Santa Cruz Mountains, and the teacher said they were going to Africa, and there were 2 spots left. Sure enough, a few months later, I found myself on the 30-plus hour journey across the world. I had high hopes for this trip. I was convinced that my teacher was also back having another life of her own, and she was in Africa, and maybe I would get to meet her. Well, the week flew by, and indeed, a lot of amazing things happened, but I never had a bit of recognition in anyone that I met. And as we made our way along the bumpy bus ride on the last day, I thought to myself, I know in my heart that she's here. I didn't get to meet her on this trip, but maybe someday it will happen. Our bus pulls up to our last stop on our last day. We are visiting a hospital. I step down out of the bus into the dirt parking lot. There's a building straight ahead that says the words morgue across the front, not hidden down in the basement to keep friends and family from thinking about what might lie ahead. Our group makes its way down a tile-lined walkway to meet the administrator of the hospital. Sister Angela walks up. She is a short woman in a blue nun's habit. This is my teacher. A calmness flows over me like honey over my neck and shoulders. I turned to my friend that knows what I've been hoping for during the trip and whispered, it's her. Her eyes get very wide. After Sister Angela greets the rest of our group, she turns to me, and I give her a big hug. No words need to be said. There's energy flowing between us. It's a perfect moment. I wonder if she recognizes me. Our group is released to explore the hospital. I'm drawn down the hallway into a courtyard. And as I make a left turn into the courtyard, there's a building in the back of the hospital with a little sign that says maternity. I would never be so bold as to go in without an invitation, but curiosity was screaming inside of me. As if she heard my pleas, Sister Angela came around the corner. She walked up to me, took my elbow, and pushes me towards the building and simply says, "Go in." And she walks away. The first room had lots of benches and a few expectant fathers. The second room had beds lining the right side and the left. The beds on the right side were for women that were in labor or had had babies. The girl in the first bed was very proud to show off her newborn. The nurse informed us that the beds on the left side of the room were for women that had lost their babies to miscarriage or stillbirth. As we turned to make our way along those beds, there's a woman sitting at the edge of the second bed. Our eyes meet. And I understand. I understand that no matter when death occurs, whether a soul lives for a few months in utero or for 90 years on the planet, they have lived and they have learned. They have had a complete life. And this woman that had just given life to her baby for such a brief time smiles at me. And I know that she understands too. I'm back on the bus, thinking about going home and working with women that are still hurting from having miscarriages, abortions, and stillbirths to help them heal. I decide to step off the bus to say goodbye to Sister Angela. She's standing in the dirt parking lot. I walk up to her and she gives me a warm embrace. She looks in my eyes and says, "We will meet again." I know she recognizes me, and my heart sings.